Oh,
Hey
yeah.
everybody, this is Corey Salsa Floyd for Amerime Media, and today I am sitting in with a very special guest. When she's not giving scathing reviews on her YouTube channel, which is known as Fantastic Frankie, she's also a sister of the AKA Sorority Incorporated. Am I correct?
Yes, that's correct. Like I'm
Everyone,
president, I'm VP.
brothers and sisters, blurs from around the globe, say hello to Fantastic Frankie.
Yeah. What's up,
Fanta-
everyone?
Uh, Fantastic Frankie, thank you for coming in, sitting with the junkies. It'll just be me today. So we're about to get get to know a little bit more about you and talk about your views on a lot of nerd culture because I like some of your opinions here. I like it. I'm feeling it. But
Absolutely.
when did you realize you were a nerd?
Yo, I was on my bane, you know what I'm saying? I was born into it. You know what I'm saying? I literally, like, my mom jokes that I couldn't go to sleep without Michael Keaton Batman movie, and it kind of evolved into anime once the Toonami era started. But in all aspects, I've always been aware that I'm a nerd. Like, I'm one of those overachievers, like all in type of people. Like, um, anything worth doing is overdoing, and I think that's something that people forget, is that a nerd is someone who basically takes something too seriously. Like, Beyonce is a nerd for, concerts. You get what I'm saying? Like, someone who goes all in is a nerd, and I think I'm one of those people who just has been ingrained in it.
All right. So what was your first anime?
mm. Yo, I want to say Dragon Ball Z was the first one I was in heavy, but before then I had seen like Gundam. I would like catch a couple episodes of Cowboy Bebop. And then there was this anime that I saw on like late night. It was called Bubblegum Crisis. Do
Hey,
you remember that? I don't know if you
yeah.
remember that, but I remember I was a girl. I was a young girl. It was before Dragon Ball Z, and it was one of those I knew I wasn't supposed to be watching it late night, like not porn, but definitely Bubblegum Crisis. So that's low key the first anime I saw, but the first one that like I fully followed is definitely Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon. Oh, and Tenchi Muyo. I would watch all of them. I started them
Ooh.
all at the same time.
Dragon Ball Z was like the ultimate tease as a kid because where I come from, the Philly originally would come on at like 8 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, and it'll only be on for like an hour. And of course, you
Right.
get all hype, and then the narrator kicks in, and you're like, "No, I gotta wait another week." Ah!
Yo, I remember my grandma had made me a snack once, and it was during the Namek saga, and I threw it because it was like Frieza's supposed to be dead. It was 5 minutes, and we were on like episode 3 of these 5 minutes ending, and I was like, "Fuck!" And I like threw my sandwich, and my grandma's West Indian. She came in like, "What the?" I still had to eat the sandwich, but I just remember how upset I was at that juncture of the Namek saga for sure.
Oh my goodness. Ugh. Ugh. But yo, I'm not gonna lie, believe it or not, I was definitely down with Sailor Moon.
Everybody was down with Sailor Moon. People don't like to say it, but we all watched it. We all watched it. It came on before Dragon Ball Z. What were you doing? Watching Sailor, like everybody was, and guys don't like to admit it, but Sailor Moon was high, it was fire, and their fits were rocking. You know what I'm saying? Yu Yu Hakusho wasn't out by then; it had
No, not
finished.
yet. My
People forgot.
I remember my whole thing was, and I realized it. I realized it back then. I was like, "Yo, Tuxedo Mask is just a motivational speaker."
Yo, I didn't like it. So like, I'll never forget this. My dad is Puerto Rican, and one time I was watching it, and they played that like super racist Zorro type music when he
Oh
would
my
come in.
God.
And my dad, I mean, between that and like, cause he's a comic book guy, he was like, I mean, I don't know why you watch this. And every time Tuxedo Mask would come out with that music, he get so upset, so upset.
I always got weirded out by it too, because as I got older, I got into like Roberto Rodriguez's mariachi trilogy. So I
Yes.
was just like, so was Tuxedo Mask supposed to be like El Mariachi, but
I
without the
don't
gun?
know.
I was
I
like,
I think they're trying to say he was smooth. So like, you know how Spanish is supposed to be romance and stuff. So and he was just like Zorro. You remember Zorro?
of course.
Yeah, he was just like that. So I think that was a little bit of his motivation there, but
all the
I'm not
swagger,
quite
but none of
sure.
the fighting.
Yo, nobody actually threw hands there, right?
Nope.
Yeah.
All right, so what's so Batman, Tim Burton's Batman, you got to make sure you throw it in there now, because we
Right.
just say Batman out there. Some people think Zack Snyder's idea of Batman or Jerry
This is like
Bruckheimer's
fan art, right?
idea. Ugh. Look, there was issues with Batfleck, but overall, I think his portrayal was okay. But everything else in that movie is where things went horribly, horribly wrong.
Yeah, I like Batflex. I don't know. And I felt like other people loved him when that movie came out, right? Everybody was about the Batfleck. Like everybody was talking about like, I can't believe he's so good in this, blah, 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 blah. And then something switched where people were like, I hated him like that. And I'm like, yeah, we're not talking that talk, when it first came out. Because he was good and he was big and he was scary.
Was it the Martha moment?
Perhaps, perhaps. But yo, he ain't write the script. You know what I'm saying? Like they all got lines that they could do without. But in terms of like how he was moving, his voice, he looked super rich, which is y'all forget a very big trait of Bruce Wayne. And he was athletic. Like there was nothing about it. And his outfit was super cool and like from New Zealand. I don't
Jeremy
know where the heck
Irons,
came from.
great guy. All right, so when did you how did your channel culminate? How did you just wake up one day and say, "Hey, I'm going to do this," or was there a lead up to it?
Yo, low key, yes. Like I thought about it, of course, in passing, but in terms of like actual prep time, if you guys ever want to scroll down to like my first video, it's not good. The sound is terrible. It's like all shot on my iPhone, and you can definitely tell the difference. It was just, I was tired of seeing, I just had things to say, and I felt like because it was men and white
Go ahead,
women talking about the
speak your
stuff that we
truth.
were talking about, it's facts. Like no one that I really identified with ever spoke about it. So then I was like, yeah, I'm missing points because it doesn't resonate with you in that way. So I had one of those Issa Rae moments where I was like, yo, I'm about to turn 30 soon. I need to like start this page to say I did something in my 20s. And yeah, it kind of just launched from there. And yeah, it's been great. It's been great. And it started off like on the shonen showdown type thing where I'd be like, yo, such and such, Killua is stronger than such and such. And after last year when, George Floyd and everything, it just didn't seem
Yeah.
appropriate to me anymore. You know what I mean? Like I would write these scripts and nothing resonated with me or I didn't feel right filming it. So then I kind of pivoted, and that's where the real growth was. I was growing like crazy initially. Like I hit that 10K mark in like 4 months and stuff. But once I switched over and connected it to like real life and showing the parallels, that's where I really got to see that growth and like people really start to rock with my page.
Yeah, it's especially in the eruption of everything. Uh, I have found it difficult in my writings to try to just stick to it, stick to what's going on in the material. But I've always said that comic books and cartoons, they all get a lot of it comes from real life.
Absolutely.
So I've been trying to embrace that more.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I think it makes it difficult now too, right? Like you're watching, let's say, Attack on Titan, and you're watching the Marlians treat the Eldians like how Black people are treated. And it's like, damn, it's like I can't, there's no escape anymore. Everywhere I look, it's something reflecting to my experience right now. So that escape that we used to seek out in this content is gone. And maybe it was never there, but now maybe
That
it's
was what I was about to
resonating
say.
differently.
It might have always been there. We just didn't put it all together. Like when I was
Right.
a kid watching X-Men, the animated series, I never thought about X-Men as Black people until I was in my mid-teens.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, I had one of those dads who was like, I'd watch it. I'd be like, oh, look, Storm's here. She's Black. And then my dad would be like, they're all Black, baby. I would be like, oh, okay. So he would like let me know right there, like everybody Black on this show. You hear?
And
Even
now you're older, you're like,
Magneto. Right,
oh.
right. It made sense.
So your dad seems like your dad was like the head nerd in the house.
Yeah, it's just the two of us, to be honest, and it's the way that we bond. So my mom is like super cool, and she's always a cool girl and stuff like that. And my dad is just handsome, so that's kind of how he lucked up there. But but he's all through and through a nerd, and it's actually really funny. Like if you look at young pictures of me, my mom had this fire bar, like one of those bars you lift up to go under, had a sink in it. And across the entire bar, all you see are toys, figurines all over her bar. And it's just so funny to see, like, knowing how my mom is so particular and stuff like that. I mean, that's not there. She's moved and stuff since then, but just to see like that he was able to finagle all of his stuff into her space is like, yo, that's fire.
So, what, in your opinion, what is the weakest MCU film?
Weakest MCU film. Technically, y'all forget the Hulk is an MCU film.
No, the Hulk counts for me.
Yeah. Weakest, because I don't even remember what happened in it. If I'm being real, they didn't even have Mark Ruffalo in it, so that's weakest. But if you want to go off the phases, blah 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 blah, I would give it to Thor: The Dark World.
That's the right answer.
Yeah. It's a tie between that, and I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Captain America, the first one was I
think I've recently rewatched it. I think the whole deal with Captain America, the first Avengers, was to highlight the golden era of comics,
right?
Because it was shot and framed in such a way that it definitely separated itself from everybody else. Because it really did feel like some, like it could have had one of those cheap 1940 narrators through the whole film, and it would have been fine.
Yeah, but they could have done it in a way that I feel like would have been better. Like, we just got, now that we've seen Watchmen, I feel like everybody's held accountable, right? Watchmen did a full noir episode in which it was still paying homage to the time and the period. And I'm talking about the show, not the movie.
Oh, I know.
Right. Well, for the watchers, but they had a full noir episode where you're watching it, and you're engaged, and you're still, telling that story in that type of way without it seeming cheesy. You get what I'm saying? And there were just parts where I was like, yo, Chris Evans is fine, but like, that's it right now. Like, that's all I'm getting. And I think some of it too was it had the weight of setting up the Avengers. Like the Avengers was the next movie, so they're like, "Yo, this movie has to do 5 things before we hit there," you know.
Also think that I think Watchmen the show actually kept with the original tone that the creator of the comic wanted. I think it
Yeah,
stayed a lot. It stayed very close to that material without desecrating it. If you,
absolutely.
yeah,
Well, some may argue that they did desecrate it. You know, the original Watchmen had no black people except for one like detective or something, and all the women were props, including Silk Spectre, who was, you know,
definitely Silk
a
Spectre.
rape, did a child of rape, and then almost it was so. You know, to if that's Alan Moore's take, and then we see it, and now we're seeing nuanced characters, black people, Asian people, all women everywhere running the show. It goes against what the core of the show was, which was just so deeply rooted in misogyny and racism, and to like flip it over its head, I loved it.
Yeah, he wasn't really very thought provoking in his material when it came to uh, race or women. It was more of the modern ideas and concepts around war and politics and shit like that. So
Right, but you know what? I can't blame him. He's a white man. You get what I'm saying? Like, what that's what he knows. What does he know about women besides them being a prop or whatever? Just like I truly could not write a nuanced story about white feminism. I couldn't do it. But you know, I could write stories about black people. I could do that. But you know, there's just something there
shit,
that he'll never have to empathize with or truly understand, you know?
shit. Neither could the creator of Wonder Woman, but you know.
Yo. Remember, y'all forget there was a man who was on that team with her. Patty Jenkins did not do that second movie by herself.
Oh no, I'm
And
not. I was speaking more to the comic.
oh yeah, I had issues with that too. I talk about that a lot about, you know, Wonder Woman just it's problematic. The issues with Nubia, it's just so deeply seated by the same thing. It's all white men writing all these things until maybe about 30 years ago. And these comics are 120, you know, 86 years old. It all, you know, so
There, some of them are almost. Actually, no, they are older than. Yeah, yeah. About to say they're literally older than the Civil Rights Act. Go figure.
right, right.
So wait, what you tapped on Wonder Woman 84? What were your what was your 2 coins on that?
Yo, so I saw it with my family who don't watch any of the movies really and stuff like that, and they enjoyed it. And that's something I can say. I thought it was an okay movie. It was I mean, especially for the DCEU, which have done unwatchable, like they have movies I cannot watch again.
To say a DCEU movie is good is a low bar.
It's a low bar. It's a low bar. So I thought it was all right. But the thing that was getting me tight about, you know, some of the critical, I just feel like women can't have movies. You know what I mean? Like we'll eat up Shazam, which was for most of the movie.
Yeah, it was alright.
It was but people were losing it over Shazam. And then they were like, you know, they were talking about it like it was someone literally told me, yo, this is worse than Dragon Ball Evolution. I was like, y'all dragging it. Y'all dragging it.
Whoa.
I screenshotted it. I had to.
That in the words of Stephen A. Smith, that is blasphemous.
And I'm like, y'all, it really vexed me that all of a sudden men were experts on consent. I'm not saying, you know, that I just was getting so tight. I was like, y'all, I watch so many shaky consent things in these comic book stuff. And all of a sudden, y'all just very, very vexed about this whole Steve Trevor thing. And it was getting me vexed that all of a sudden they're just so concerned about it. You know what I mean?
The weirdest thing for me when it came to Steve Trevor was, how can a guy who flew a plane in World War I be ready to fly a modern jet?
I would have to see how the controls look, right? I could drive a car from, 60 years ago.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot more factors comparing a car to a plane.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. But
especially back then, like a World War I plane could go maybe a few thousand feet in the air, and that's a hard maybe. To now a jet.
Y'all, there's magic. Y'all, there's magic in this world. Y'all worry about a jet. Yo, this is the thing. This is the thing that's our issue now. That we get so caught up, and I find myself doing that too. Like, we get caught up on logistics that don't matter. You know what I'm saying?
I couldn't help but notice it during my second watch.
Got no water in there, huh?
I couldn't help but notice it my second watch because I was like, wait, you can do that?
Yeah, like, but you guys are worried about the jet. They were bigger plot holes. Like,
oh no,
all of a sudden learning how to make that jet invisible. That was my concern, not him knowing the controls. I was like, we don't know. Maybe he got the memories of whoever body he in, and he know. I don't know. Maybe she took a minute to show him the controls. Like, yo, this is a little different from what you remember here. We don't know. But what I do know is that she said she tried it with a mug once. And then got a full jet going, and I was like, y'all trying it. Y'all trying it.
I was like, y'all just like to finagle everything, huh?
Facts. Agreed.
But all right. You know the one DC EU movie that I think it looked good, but story-wise, it was absolutely all over the place. It made no sense. Aquaman.
And y'all, nobody talked bad about Aquaman ever.
And here's why. And even I like Jason Momoa. Mm-hmm. I like him as a person. He's a funny dude. I met him once. Great dude. But that movie tried to do like 2 seasons of Game of Thrones in one movie.
That and the CGI was butt. Y'all, DC got more. Warner Brothers have more money than what they was putting in that Aquaman movie. And you know what's weird? It's like people weren't really talking bad about Aquaman, but then they had the nerve, the gall to go into Birds of Prey. Like, that movie wasn't hot. The movie was good. I liked it.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you there.
Yo, that movie was good. It was better than Aquaman. Yo, top 3 movies of DCEU, right? What? I would say regular Wonder Woman. I'll give it to regular first Wonder Woman is the top, right?
Regular Wonder Woman is literally Captain America, the first Avenger.
Yo, but they did it differently. You see what I'm saying? They did. That's what I mean. You could different enough. And the action, I think what it is because I just rewatched it on the plane. I forgot how much hands she was throwing that whole movie. She dropped down in London, hands. They went somewhere else, hands. There's like a scene where they're like, yo, we can't leave this front. Let's keep on moving. She's like, nah. F that. And she goes out and she inspires them. I'm feeling inspired. Versus like we watched Steve Rogers in training camp. Training. Why? You know, at least Amazon was throwing hands. He was skinny and then it was come on.
Look, there's too many elements that are in both movies. So right. The fact that both movies have a guy named Steve played by a guy named Chris that sacrifices himself in a plane.
First of all, neither one of them wrote that. Yo, this from the source material. Both of them got Steve. Chris is just a product of being a white actor, right? Yeah, no, Chris and
I never said anything was wrong with performances per se, even though I still feel like I want Gal Gadot to get more acting lessons.
I agree.
There's a lot of potential there, but it's just like you look the part, but just like Jason Momoa, at some point in the script, it's like you're just going through the motions, and I can see it.
Absolutely. But yeah, so then what would you name the top DCEU movie?
God, it's so horrible. Ugh. Ugh. Uh,
Side note, there isn't one.
Oh. Yo, I'm saying there gotta be the best of the worst show.
Okay.
I'm saying it's Wonder
Woman. If I was to put one at the top, Shazam. And here's why. And mind you, I still have issues with Shazam, but overall, it still tells a solid original story. Because one, the tonal shifts in Shazam are jarring.
Yes.
They're jarring. Dr. Zhivago shows up, kills a bunch of people, and then the very next scene we have Shazam flossing, and I'm just like,
what is going on? That's your king? That's what you want? Yo, come on.
But again, it's jarring, but I can still sit through it. I just know that my brother took his daughter to go see it, and he was like, and I'm gonna cover your eyes right here. And we're back.
How do you know? So the best part about Shazam is that they got Megan Good for it. Now that's what I liked about it. So what would you name number 2?
I would put Wonder Woman 84.
84 over Wonder Woman?
Yes, because again, there's too many elements in the first Wonder Woman movie that are very comparable to Captain America. I only gave you the last bit. I could have gone deeper.
Snyder cut.
Y'all. No.
I'm
glad you brought it up.
I'm glad you brought it up. Cut because if it fails, then that's the end of the DCEU.
First of all,
it's not the end. They already said that this is Zack Snyder's last hurrah in DC. He already has.
So first of all, you see that's a disclaimer. Yeah. They fired him. They was like, look, they watched it and they said, yo, this is just an hour more. The movie, y'all gonna be tight when it's the same dark shit that we watched before. And you know what?
But at least
I cannot wait.
At least now Zack Snyder can say he showed his movie, because I do feel like his flaws and all. I always feel that directors should be allowed to show what they made.
I don't. He left the job. He left the job
because of a family's death. He didn't just leave the job. He didn't just leave the job.
So then he should have negotiated to push the movie. The movie got pushed anyway.
Well, that's because the executives sitting there like, listen, we don't care. Hey, hire the guy that did the Avengers. We could do reshoots. That was an executive decision.
My biggest thing is this, especially for a director on Zack Snyder's caliber. His legacy will now be this Snyder cut, because he made it his legacy. I think it will. I forgot for a second he did 300. And a lot of people do, because all he's been talking about since that came out is how much better his movie is. And if this movie is not John Blaze, first of all, y'all, I have been taking dance lessons for my victory dance if it isn't, y'all, because I cannot wait for it to be mediocre and for y'all to hype it up. Because even if it's mediocre, everybody gonna hype it up because they're just so glad, just like they did with Sonic, because they feel like their voices were heard and stuff like that. But on my end, I'm gonna see through that. I'm gonna say, y'all, this is booty butt cheeks like the rest of this. Here's the trash for y'all. Y'all got played. So did I, because I have to watch 4 hours of it so I can talk shit to y'all. That's crazy. Also, even if it's decent, if it takes you 4 hours to tell a decent story, you're not a good storyteller. But imagine if I told you a story and I was talking for an hour to tell you the story, you'd be tight. You'd be like,
but at the same time, this is what happens when a studio doesn't want to build up to their big project. They just want to slam it right in. I'm like, guys, how are y'all gonna have a teen movie then try and plot out individual movies for everybody afterwards. I was like, that just sounds ass backwards.
Yo, there's something so very disjointed about DC as a whole, Warner Brothers. I don't know what's going on there because they know how to build a universe, y'all. The animated version of the DC is insane.
That's
insane. Even the CW verse, it's campy because it's on the CW, but it's still good. It's still better than that.
The animated universe is literally all directed by one dude. He directed all of them. He knew what he was doing. I was just like, yo, this is awesome. And I was just like, how come I couldn't get that?
Yo, Into the Red Hood had me literally hollering. I was like, oh my God, who is? Like, I didn't know what happened. I still was watching it like I had never, read it or anything like that. And even Harley Quinn, her series right now is, chef's kiss.
Her series is flames. And I ain't gonna lie, the first episode, I didn't know what I was expecting, so it threw me really off. I was like, all right, this first episode's a little off, but I'll stick with you.
I'll stay. I'm gonna listen. What I really loved was that whole, like, her trying to join the league, and just that whole the politics version of it. Them trying to be PC even though they're villains, and just like Dr. that Psycho. Whole thing. Yes. I love it. And Lex Luthor would be on some, we gotta drop him, right? He's a businessman first.
First off, I loved Juan Carlo Esposito as Lex Luthor in that little moment. Because normally,
first of all, anything he's in is incredible.
Normally, Clancy Brown has always been the voice of Lex, but I could see him as a replacement.
I really think now that Lex is that Dominican, like I feel like he's Dominican, right? Like they've been hinting towards it before with his like oversized suits and like he's like my color in the like Justice League show.
Paul Dini's chocolate looking Lex is just been like no one's argued over this, and it's great.
I love it. I've not heard not one white person was like, yo, because honestly, the way Lex move, I can see a black CEO moving like he's the hunger there, the fight. Y'all forget. And I learned this like joining the corporate world and stuff like that. A lot of white CEOs and really white successful men, I find are successful primarily through circumstance. You get what I'm saying? So like that fight, that wherewithal, a lot of times is not there. They normally hire someone else of color that's like right under them to help them. But Lex is a self-made man. You know what I'm saying? So it just resonates differently.
He's also stone cold and calculating. He's like
that's not my abuelo. Come on.
All right. No. I'm about to say. No, because we could sit here all day and just gouge out on DC. We really can. But all right, what's your top anime of choice right now?
Yo, Jujutsu Kaisen is fire.
All right, yes.
Yo, and you know what? Okay, I will say this. It is derivative of Naruto. Like I literally call the characters Naruto characters, right? They got Sakura over here who shows a lot of strength but never gets to use it and is always in trouble. They got emo Sasuke who has this hidden power we haven't learned about. They got Kakashi who's OP but is always taken out of the equation by whatever reason. And then they got Naruto with something hidden inside him. But Naruto is one of the greatest animes for a reason. It's fire. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. The animation is good. And I'm one of those I love fight scenes and I love hands every episode. What we doing? Hands. Tomorrow, hands. It's like even their like filler episodes is about them throwing hands and I can appreciate that.
Okay.
I mean, AOT is definitely up there, but sometimes I be thinking too much, and I gotta read it. So now it's reading. I got a notebook out. I gotta write. It feels like homework sometimes. Like I'm watching Casablanca, and sometimes I want to watch, Terminator. You get what I'm saying? Like sometimes I don't want to be on that level.
Shout out to Terminator, OG, triple. I was a huge Terminator fan till after 3. Sorry.
Till after 3. Same.
3 actually holds up very well. It's not 2 because 2's the GOAT, but 3 is still good.
Which one? So which one was 3? What was the one where they told Olivia Pope's father and he changed it and it still happened? That's 2, right? The black guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh dang! So yeah, I forgot 3. 3's the one with the liquid man, or is that still 2?
No. 3 is the one where they had a female Terminator.
Yeah, it's alright. It's alright. 1 and 2 is definitely fire.
Yeah, after 3, we don't talk about that.
I just remember in 2, Sarah Connor, who was this like scared girl in number 1. They like first shot of her. She just doing pull-ups. She in Mexico. Her hair, she got mullet now. And I was like, yo. And she's still gangster. The actress is still in shape.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I need to petition for her to be the new Cara Dune. I think that'd be fine. Right?
Hey, that's
right?
You know what? That's not a bad idea. No, not as Cara Dune though. I would want her to be. I would want her to be someone who's. I want her age to fit the narrative. Like she's been around long enough to say, "Listen, I've seen this shit." She's like, "I've seen both Death Stars blow up. You can't tell me shit."
She just got it in her eyes. You know what I'm saying?
But the one anime I just rewatched the first season of it, and I'm anticipating the second season because I know it's out. It's just being dubbed over now. Beastars.
You into that weird shit?
No, here's the thing. Beastars was not even in my realm of tea, but in the first episode, I was just like, huh. Because first off, that style of animation, it only works in a finite amount of scenarios, and Beastars is one of them. Because like that style of animation, I was just like, huh, this actually fits. All right, I'll sit. I was like, I'll watch. And then I was just like, okay, this is a very interesting, funny, and fucked up story. I was like, this is Zootopia, but on that shit.
Yo, but I don't know. I guess maybe because I was comparing it to Zootopia, which y'all is a masterpiece if you haven't seen it. And it like Zootopia covers like the crack epidemic and stuff like that. It's heavy stuff in there. And with that, I didn't like the way the bunny was portraying herself. Like she wasn't even a hoe for a reason. Like she didn't even know what it was for. So I don't know. I watched it. I enjoyed it. I liked the deer, but everything else I was like, eh.
That's why I'm looking forward to season 2. Because I'm like, there's because first seasons of shows, listen, a lot of first seasons of some of the best shows haven't been the strongest.
Right.
but they some.
So then what about like Promised Neverland, where the first season is incredible? And then like I don't really read manga because I don't have the time. It's not that I don't want to. And then just seeing how upset people are about the story, hearing some of the storylines that I've missed. Because normally the anime, when a manga's that excellent, they don't deviate like that. Maybe be like, let me go ahead and read this.
I am curious why they have deviated from certain things. But for the overall story, I'm okay with it. Not gonna lie, I didn't know what I was walking into with Finding Neverland. So after one episode, I was like, oh shit.
That's the best. When I recommend it to people, they're like, "What is it about?" I'm like, I can't even tell you without ruining it for you to just watch it. It's like Parasite. If you guys ever seen that movie, the Korean movie, you can't tell people really what it's about. They just got to experience it and enjoy it.
Love Parasite, and it's funny you say that, and it was actually something I wanted to bring up. So over here in America, they thought it was wise that they're now in pre-production to do a American version of Train to Busan.
Yo, I cannot stand people.
And I'm just like, yo, I haven't seen a Hollywood backslap this hard in ages.
Yo, they did Old Boy over with Elizabeth Olsen. Yeah, I forgot. With Thanos and Scarlet Witch. I think
it was directed by Spike Lee.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a big Spike Lee fan.
I like his earlier work.
His earlier work's okay, but he don't really like women like that. Not in a like he's homosexual. Like he's always punishing women in every one of his stories. School Days, he paints Tisha Campbell to be the head chick in charge, and then has her degrade herself at the very end, which was like totally out of character for her. And there's just not do the right thing. She gotta have it. At first you think Nola Darling is this like free woman, and then they have, one of the guys rape her. They have her confused. So just every time I watch a Spike Lee story, I appreciate the imagery as a Black woman, as a Black person from New York City, as a Black person who lived in Brooklyn. But then everything else, I'm like, this is not right, and this is our representation. Except for Miracle as Saint Anna. That joint was fuego.
So did you partake in his retelling of She Gotta Have It?
I did, and it was even worse. One girl got punished for getting plastic surgery, and instead of the guy who pushed her,
back alley plastic surgery.
But why punish her? Why did she feel so pressured to get that back alley plastic surgery? Right. You get what I'm saying? Like, it was all about her. Nola Darling was a brat in it. She was a brat and so unlikable and lost and so I was like, you not interested in telling nuanced stories about women, right? Women can get plastic surgery, and and people don't realize what plastic surgery is. It's an extreme version of altering your appearance, but we all alter our appearance in some shape or form, right? We get wigs, men grow beards. I don't even know how James Harden looked. You know what I'm saying? We do all these things to hype our appearance, and I don't think we should be shamed about it, especially since this extreme version are not our choice. We're doing it, in response to men that, people want to impress or to scowl or whatever. So I would have much rather preferred that look,
What do you think that Aaron Magruder's Boondocks coming back will survive the current landscape, especially with people trying to cancel everything?
Yo, that I think it will. First of all, if Family Guy is still rolling, this can roll too. That's number one. Y'all forget. But yeah, I think honestly, people forget that Aaron Magruder's was a satire. It was to look introspectively. So even if you look, the very first episode is about the R. Kelly trials, and it's crazy how history is repeating itself now that he's back on trial. And the same things are happening where they're talking about his discography. People are debating whether or not he had a Tyler Perry episode that was, off the chain. That Tyler Perry took off the shelves, off of everywhere until it got to HBO Max, y'all. It was so hard to find that episode.
Tyler Perry has a show out right now that is like The Handmaid's Tale meets Hardcore Hoteps.
Yo, my mom was watching this Tyler Perry show. I think it was called like Sisters, or I think it was about these 4 women. I couldn't get into it, but yeah, she does my twist out. So when she does, I have to watch whatever she's watching, and it's typically Tyler Perry. And this show was the worst. One, his dialogue takes forever, right? So it'd be like an exchange that won't stop. So it'd be like, can you see, you know what I mean? Like, what is that over there? And then they'll like keep on asking back and forth what that item is instead of moving on. It was just hard, but I couldn't tell you. Somebody was in jail. I think one girl was dating a white guy. He was racist, and then his coworkers came and beat her up, but his sister it was insane. All of it happened in like 30 minutes. I just thought it
was weird when I found more nuance in P-Valley than I did in a Tyler Perry production.
Yo, why? What's more nuance than
story about a stripper? I just thought it was funny because I was like, I'm like, if this is out, maybe Tyler Perry hired some writers. Because you know how Tyler Perry
did he do P-Valley?
No. But every once in a while, I have hopes and dreams that Tyler Perry, among hiring all those actors and cameramen, he might actually hire some writers. Got to have a little bit of hope.
You got to, and I commend you on that.
Gotta have a little bit.
Commend you on that, bro. No way.
But oh man, Boondocks. I really. Do you think that do you think they should have replaced the grandpa character entirely instead of recasting him?
Yeah, I really wanted Jennifer Lewis to replace him. I thought that would be funny.
I agree because I love that woman.
Yeah, I thought she'd be great. She's hilarious on Blackish. But I guess I understand. And there's that thing where you want to keep someone's legacy there. But at the same time, when you kill a character with the person, right? When you let a character die with the person, the way that character has let people change and things like that, that dies with them. You get what I'm saying? Like, even with Black Panther, I understand why Marvel wanted to honor Chadwick Boseman, and I totally appreciate that. But at the same time, Black Panther, the character, especially the MCU character, was so much bigger than him. You get what I'm saying? And it was like, now he's gone and we're scrambling to replace him. And it's hard. And it's
funny because I was speaking with Engine last week because I was saying I find it very strange how everyone just assumes at the end of Endgame that T'Challa is back as the king of Wakanda. I was like, that's a very my whole thing is, I'm like, why would y'all just assume that he's been presumed dead? Him and his sister have been presumed dead for the last 5 years. I was like, when y'all get back to Wakanda, it should be a whole movie about M'Baku being king.
Facts. And Winston, what's his name? Winston Duke?
Winston Duke.
Yo, Winston Duke can do it. First of all, I love the way it was so jarring to see him play M'Baku, and then the very next time I saw him was as this like nerdy dad and us. Yeah, I was like, this is Winston Duke? What? Is he shorter? I don't know. Something about him just seemed different. You know what I mean? But yeah, maybe they'll do that. Maybe they resurrected Killmonger. I know they've been talking about bringing
Marvel
Michael
does have
B.
a
back.
Marvel does have a bad record of killing good villains.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because if a villain, which let's be real, a good villain, that's all you really can do. They gotta die. Sometimes I don't think good villains need to redeem themselves. Like, of course, there's like a Vegeta type villain, but like Thanos, which I thought was a good villain because they stretched him out he needed to die. Loki was like an anti-hero, like
he was a villain turned anti-hero.
Yeah. But Michael B, I think, is that he didn't have to die. I don't think that he was an irredeemable villain, you know?
No, he wasn't. Because Michael B. Jordan's character had something that some of the best characters have. You can relate to what they're talking about.
Exactly.
Where you can relate and feel what the bad guy is talking about, you got a dangerous situation. Because then you start questioning the hero. You start looking at him like,
Exactly.
Where was y'all at, T'Challa?
Yo, I've been asking that about a lot of characters now. I'm like, yo, I realized Frozone is in the 50s with the Incredibles. I didn't realize the Incredibles was a period piece until I like watched the second one like the third time. And I was like, what was Frozone during the Civil Rights Movement? Out here icing it up with his white family. I couldn't. Everybody, where you at now when you got powers?
But at the same time, you had Frozone. Frozone is identity is known to the government. So how much they could have easily put him on Front Street if he became a symbol for the civil rights movement.
Woo! Yo, hands off. You're right. Yeah. You're right. You say, yeah, right here. I got you.
Because it's just like, hey, we saw you at that march, Frozone.
That's so bad.
They're just like,
Interesting. Yeah, the government was not rocking with the civil rights movement at that time.
If I see a snowball thrown at a Klan member, that's your ass.
You're done, boy. You're done. And you know what's so funny? I had this huge debate with a friend about Icon, which I'm pretty sure is going to make a huge hit now that Milestones is coming back. But yeah, Icon so he's a Republican. People forget he's a conservative Republican.
He's a conservative Republican.
And I wonder if he'll be a Trump supporter in this new iteration of it. But one thing I can say about Icon is he does the work, right? Like he saw in the Civil War, and then he fought in the civil rights movement. Like he did his part. I'd be a little tired of the games too. I'd be like, y'all, that's for y'all young people. I'm not gonna be out there no more. I've been fighting the good fight for 150 years. I'm done.
I paid my taxes.
I was a slave. Yeah. I'm done.
Yeah, because I at one point I wanted to do a piece on which comic book characters would be Trump supporters, and I was like, you know what? I don't think I want to set the entire world on fire. I was like,
yo, do it.
I was like, the Fantastic Four would get divided real fast.
Yo, you think so? I think Susan is. I think Susan Storm is, but I think that's it. And Ben, I think the thing is, but I don't think Reed is. Reed used to get some strange stuff out there. You know what I'm saying? In space.
Reed would try and be neutral to an extent, and Donnie would be like, "No, I ain't down with this."
Mm-hmm. But Reed, y'all forget Reed, and that's the thing. You can't have infinite knowledge, right? People forget. No. It's like what. And also, I actually need to make a video about this. All of these characters that we love that are in space are pansexual, right? Including Reed Richards. Once you have sex with an alien, you're pansexual. It's not a cisgender woman. Okay, so now that your horizons are open and you a different person, that changes your life, yo.
Once you've had space WAP. Space WAP. I gotta remember that.
Swap.
Look, aliens and robots, it don't matter. If they curvy enough, I'll blow the gigabytes out that bad.
Oh my god. You know the worst part is that he's like this saying it.
What makes it worse now is we have like sex robots on the market.
Yo, how much are they?
I don't know.
They tall?
I did.
They tall? You got.
I don't know. I've just seen what they look like, and I was like, oh my.
If I get one of those
Look at
robots, it's
here
going
you
to
go.
need to take a planned USB. I'm
I
not pulling up.
plan USB?
Playing USB.
Yo, he has that written. There ain't no way that's coming off the top, yo.
So wait. So if there's an issue, do you go to Planned Parenthood or Radio Shack or Best Buy?
No, Apple. Okay.
Just go in there with the whole body to the Genius
Geek
Bar.
Squad.
Geek Squad? The Geek Squad, absolutely.
I am loving it. Oh my goodness. All right, so across the spectrum, who do you think was the most vicious villain?
Ooh. You know, it depends. Sometimes I think it's Kingpin, because he's done some dirty stuff to Daredevil and the crew. Yo, he put like Karen on heroin, made her a porn star, like some dirty things that like resonated in my soul. But I think that my favorite, so I say that to say that there's so many villains. Like Dr. Doom has done some really dirty stuff. But I think the villain that's always resonated with me, and maybe because I saw him as a child, is definitely Frieza. To the point where even in Super, Vegeta he has PTSD from him, right? And just some of the stuff he was doing, just the systematic oppression he was setting up, how he was making them all like, refugee slaves and stuff like that. I just was like, yo, Frieza.
Hello,
Frieza was definitely racist.
No joke.
Yo, Frieza was definitely racist. And I love how Toriyama definitely like tried to double down on it in the new stuff. But Frieza shows up on in an old episode in an old Planet Vegeta. Hello, monkeys. And I'm just like,
yeah,
I know the N-word when I see it.
He used to emphasize it, and I was like, this is a little too comfortable for me. You know what I'm saying? A little too comfortable.
Someone's trying to land that hard R and stick the landing. I would have to say when it comes to vicious villain, I might have to go with Darkseid.
He's definitely the most violent, I think.
He's also just downright intimidating. Like he never lets you even know if you phased him. I think you've only seen him be angry like twice. And one was when I think Batman literally held his planet hostage. He was like, if you don't let us go, I'll blow this entire motherfucker up.
Right.
Go ahead.
Batman crazy. Y'all forget my boy crazy.
Cause Batman is a rich white man that be ready to die on a regular basis.
I did that whole thing. This whole Batman is not a hero. He's just like doing, how we base jumping. Like it's just something that hit his thrill because he's rich. What does he have to strive for ever? What challenges does he really have? Yes, his parents were killed over some pearls. Right, he needs therapy. But besides that, like any challenge he himself has put in front of him, the world is his oyster,
I remember at one point someone wrote a piece saying that Batman was deep in the closet. Because there was like, think about it. He only wants to come out at night in his all black leotard. He dresses up a young boy in little hot pants, calls him Robin. I was like, oh shit.
There's this very short comic strip that was hilarious. And it's Robin opening up his Christmas present, and Batman's like sitting back, and he lifts it up, and it's his little Robin suit, and Batman's just sitting there like, you know what I mean? and his little suit. And yeah, I think there's something there, something where, yeah, I could definitely see him being in the closet. Yeah, absolutely. It would explain a lot, to be truth be told.
Oh man. Oh, if what is one of your mottos that you live by?
Models, like personally?
Motto. Mm-hmm.
Yo, okay, so I have this one motto which New Yorkers use all the time. And excuse me, like, can I curse here?
Of course.
Yeah, cool. So it's don't be pussy. Which it really means take a leap of faith.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? So if you have a question, if you're second guessing yourself or something, New York, you know, your friends will be like, yo, don't be pussy. And then it's like, all right, cool. So that's something that I definitely live by. And I guess what is your purpose? Is my more PC, like, you know, what is your purpose? And it's something that I, to this day, haven't figured out. And I'm sure most people haven't. And yeah.
Mine's is one of mine is from Dr. Gregory House from the show. If everyone likes you, you're doing something wrong.
Facts. Or no one knows you.
Well, all right.
You know what I'm saying?
But another one, Dave Chappelle, he was like, First Amendment is one of the greatest things ever written. And the Second Amendment is just in case the first one doesn't work out.
Yo, that's a fact. That's a fact.
Oh man. Engine, are we at time, sir?
He gone. He got that robot.
Yes, we're at time. If I had that robot, this kind, I would.
He'd be like, y'all, we gotta go.
Like, she's charged up. Time to wrap it up, guys. But seriously, Frankie, I want to have you back.
Of course. I know I've been like all over the place, but I'm glad I could be here. It's a lot of fun.
This is an absolute treat. I would actually love to sit and talk movies with you.
Can be done.
I love it. Meanwhile, tell all the beautiful people out there where they can find you.
Yes. Y'all, if you like comics, anime, movies, anything, I just regurgitate pop culture. Go ahead and check me out at fantasticfrankey, FRANKEY. On most platforms, except for Twitter's, they're haters. I'm at Fanboy Fighter there because they won't let me keep all my characters. So check me out. The discussions there are insane. If you don't like politics or, you know, equality, don't go. But everyone else, pull up, you know?
And of course, we are the Amerime Junkies, where I think the professional fuckery goes pretty well. Don't you?
Yes, of course. I had to remember which side to fucking look at.
But seriously, again, we want to thank Fantastic Frankie for coming in today. And of course, you'll be able to check this out on any of our streaming platforms for our podcast, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, and et cetera, et cetera. And of course, on the tubes of the U's. But Fantastic Frankie, anything else you want to say to everybody?
Not right now, but some stuff is cooking, so y'all should follow. Y'all see some stuff.
All right, we're about to do the sign off. What we do is I yell Jesus, America, Freedom, Eagle, and then we make a weird bird sound. Would you like to join in?
I'll try.
Hey, it don't got to be good. It just got to be funny.
Okay.
Jesus, America, Freedom, Eagle.
Incredible.
You'll fit along nicely here. This
Thank
is
you.
Corey Saltachu Floyd for Amerime Media saying, be well.
Hey guys, Demon Engine here, aka the Imposter Waifu, and if you like that video and want to watch more, be sure to check out either video that's on the side of me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and if you want some of this sweet merch that I'm wearing, go to AmerimeMedia.com and hit shop in our menu. Okay, bye!